Hello everyone and welcome to another haul video for April. We got a couple of fun things for Easter. Some of the orders that I placed like half a year ago from limited run games have finally come in, so that's exciting. And we also acquired some original Game Boy games. We also have a part 2 of the FOMO Hurry and Buy 3DS games from the eShop before they close. So that's a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get into it. So first let's get started to the Switch games. The first thing I want to show off is Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville Complete Edition. And this game was $10 at multiple retail shops. I do have experience with the Plants vs. Zombies series, however, this is kind of taking the genre in an entirely different direction. It kind of plays more like a first-person shooter is how I understand it, but I'm not entirely informed on that. The very first game is one of the best phone games that I've ever played, and that one kind of acts like a grid-based tower defense type of system, and it was really fun. The second one kind of turns more into a pay-to-win system where you can pay real money in order to give yourself an upper hand against the zombies, but the first one is an absolute classic. So let's open Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville up and see what's inside. Inside, we don't have any inside art, but this is the cartridge. And I've actually heard pretty good things about this game, so I'm excited to try it out. Part of me wonders if it is more of a multiplayer experience rather than a single player one, but I shall have to find out. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about this one, but for 10 bucks, it's worth the risk in my opinion. The second one was only $5, that being Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and I'm not a huge Power Rangers guy. I kind of remember watching the first movie once maybe. I remember these gray bad guys with the circles on their chest, and when you punch them in that circle, that's how you kill them, or do they die? I don't really know, like I said. I know that you have a giant robot animals that can form together to form a giant robot animal. I don't know a lot about it. I do know that this game in particular is a fighting game similar to something like Street Fighter, where it's just 1 versus 1. So really, this game has a lot of marks against it for my own personal preference, because I don't really like fighting games and I don't know a lot about Power Rangers. But it was $10 and I used my $5 off GameStop monthly coupon. So for $5, I figured it's worth the price of admission, at least to see what Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is all about. So let's open this up and see if we have anything inside. All right, it just looks like we have some kind of space background with these stars here and maybe some kind of a galaxy. This is what the cartridge looks like. And I figure if it has a cool enough single player mode, kind of like Mortal Kombat 11, I actually really enjoyed that fighting game. So this is anything like that, I'm in for a pretty decent time, I think. Let's move on to some limited run games. This first one being One Step from Eden. This is the game, this is the card that comes with all the limited run games. I usually just like put these in the cases. It's not like I have a ton of limited run games in order to have like a whole collection on display of these cards, but it's a nice little addition that is included, especially for physical game collectors such as myself. So One Step from Eden is basically like a Mega Man Battle Network roguelite. And when I did my casual review of Mega Man Battle Network, I kind of pitched this whole idea of this roguelite format that I think it would fit it perfectly. And I actually had a commenter tell me about One Step from Eden, and he's like, basically there's already a game in existence like that you are pitching, and it's called One Step from Eden. So when I saw that this game was up for pre-order from Limited Run Games, I knew that I had to at least give it a shot. I hear it is very, very challenging, and I doubt that I'll be able to beat it, at least for a while until I get a lot of practice under my belt. It takes a lot of quick reaction times. I already have a tough enough time playing through Mega Man Battle Network, so I imagine this will give me a run for my money. However, it's an interesting enough concept that I think it's worth the shot. So I can't remember the commenter off the top of my head because it was such a long time ago that I did that casual review, but whoever you are, if you're watching this, thank you for the recommendation. So let's open this up. And as per usual with limited run games, we usually get at least one inside cover art goodie here. This seems like it's just one page here. Oh, this is very bare bones and kind of disappointing. I was hoping for at least a booklet, but at least we get some kind of artwork of this character. But yeah, this is kind of disappointing. It's just this picture of the Joy-Cons at the controls, so whatever. At least we get a kind of cool inside artwork here. And this is what the cartridge looks like. Yeah, I'm actually pretty interested in this one because I like Mega Man Battle Network, and so turning that into a roguelite format, I think it just makes perfect sense. We got one more limited run game that was also delivered last month, that being Ikenfell. And this seems more like a turn-based RPG, similar to something like Bug Fables or Paper Mario. I thought it was worth a shot. This is the card that came with it, and it seems pretty much line to line with the case itself. Let's see what's inside Ikenfell. All right. It doesn't seem like we get anything fancy here in terms of a booklet. It's pretty similar to One Step from Eden, unfortunately. Geez, I thought the little inclusion for the Bug Fables limited run game was bare bones, but at least that was a tiny little booklet. This is just pictures of the Joy-Con and the controllers. Whatever. Here is, I'm sure this will make sense to me when I actually play through the game. I know that the game involves kind of like a Hogwarts witchcraft school. So maybe you use magic using these elements like plant and fire. This is what the cartridge looked like. And I'm excited to play this game as well. It seems like it has a lot of charm, a lot of heart and soul into it. So as long as it's not too difficult, I think I'm in for a great time here. Our last Nintendo Switch game may be one that you are familiar with, as it had just recently came out, that being Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And I've actually had a couple of commenters ask me on my other Kirby videos when I'm going to do a casual review of this one, and so I told them that I'd get to it very soon. This one was brought to me during Easter from the bunny, so I actually played through this one, and you can expect a casual review sometime down the line. I'm actually kind of back ordered in terms of casual reviews, so this one might be a little bit probably after my Mega Man marathon, but that is why it is open, so you don't get to see me take off the cellophane, unfortunately. It's a really fun game, and I definitely think that it is worth the praise that it is getting, but that's all I'll say in terms of the actual game review and my thoughts about it so far. This is the inside of the game, and here we have Kirby is what the fans have doubly named this form of mouthful mode, where Kirby is just stretched over a car. And this is actually reminiscent of one of the very first scenes in the games. It's very fun, and I like the inside artwork here. This is what the cartridge looked like. And yeah, tune in a little while, because like I said, I'm so back ordered. I have so many other casual reviews that I finally have to upload. So it might be a little bit, but at least you know it's coming. Now, we aren't done with Kirby games, however. On the local classifieds website, I was able to find this Kirby game, the very first Kirby game for the Game Boy, this being Kirbys Dreamland. And one interesting thing that sticks out to you probably is that Kirby is white in this artwork. And in the American artwork of this game, he is depicted as white, and that may be because this game originally came out for the original Game Boy, and it only has black and white tones, and so Kirby is actually depicted as white in the original game. In the Japanese artwork of this game, he is still pink, however. One other thing, you won't be able to tell from this artwork here, but Kirby in this game actually isn't able to have copy abilities, and so that's another interesting thing. Another game that I will probably do a casual review of after The Forgotten Land. It is a fun game, and this is actually the very first game that I have ever beaten, probably because it is targeted towards a younger audience, so I actually was able to play through it. And another reason is it only takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play all the way through, to roll the credits, so I didn't run out of patience as a young child. Anyway, it just has I have a fondness for this game, and I'm glad that I finally have retrieved the actual game cartridge of it, because it is kind of just a fun little thing to add to the Game Boy collection. That same buyer had some other Game Boy games as well, and he was willing to throw in this Battletoads game, Battletoads in Ragnarok's World. He threw this in for an additional $5, so I thought, why not? I know Battletoads, the genre is kind of a meme at this point. I've never played any of the Battletoad games, but I hear that the original one for the Sega, maybe? I hear that it is quite difficult. So I'm curious to see what this Game Boy game is all about. But for $5, I get this old piece of history to add to my collection. So definitely worth it. And maybe someday I will get to Battletoads. This next one, you may not consider it gaming, but it's gaming adjacent, and that being the original Tamagotchi. And I get nostalgia even just looking at this thing, as I had a whole keychain maybe of 6 or 7 of these things growing up. And my mom is probably shaking her head right now as she watches this video because she's having Tamagotchi flashbacks. So yeah, I got this for Easter, and I actually saved the packaging for it, and I put the Tamagotchi back in here just so you can see how it was all put together. I definitely like the artwork on this packaging, this color penciled aesthetic. It's very reminiscent of how it was back in the day whenever I would get a new Tamagotchi. This is what the back looks like, just little descriptions of how to play the Tamagotchi. So when you open it up, we are presented with our Tamagotchi. The instruction booklet is kind of neat to reference this growth chart, and it's basically your Tamagotchi can evolve into these random sprites. And I've already gone through 2 of these Tamagotchis since Easter, unfortunately. I guess I'm not that great of a mother taking care of these, so they keep dying. So I did reset my Tamagotchi after the second death, and it's been stuck on the egg, and I can't quite figure out how to hatch it. I haven't really messed with it too much, but it's just a fun little thing. Like if he's hungry, you can feed him, and if he poops, you gotta clean up his poop, and you just gotta take good care of him to make sure that he lives for a long time. I've never had mine live for longer than a week. It says that they can live, let's see, I was reading through this, and it said that they can live to about like longer than oh, here's a little chart. So 6 to 10 years, each year is like a day in real life. So it keeps telling me that I have room for improvement, but I swear I'm on top of it. I don't know why they keep dying. Actually, for these new Tamagotchis, I guess we had too many traumatized children saying that their pets are dying. So in this one, it says that it returns to its home planet, but we all know that just means that it dies, right? So I will try again with this third form. I've already had 2 of these forms. I've had this plant-looking thing, and then I've had this one that, it was this one that floats up in the sky, and they both only lived for about a week. So once I figure out how to hatch this egg, it's gonna live longer than a week, you'll see. And this isn't any physical game here, but as for part 2 of games that I'm picking up before it is too late and I won't be able to access these games on the 3DS shop, I purchased a couple more games here. So if we scroll over, I was able to purchase Radiant Historia, a JRPG that I've heard a lot of really good things about. So I think it was $10 on sale, and that's why I bought it, because I was getting FOMO. And then I haven't downloaded it yet, but I also purchased Shin Megami Tensei 4. And with the attention that Shin Megami Tensei 5 and 3 remake or remaster or whatever, I felt like maybe I'd give the 4th one a shot someday. I'd actually really like to start with the 5 in the series, because that's the one that I've been hearing the best reviews about. And then maybe I can go back to 4, but I just figured I'd buy it now before it's too late. I've also heard that Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse is also a really good game, so I might pick that one up when it goes on sale again too. So just slowly filling out my 3DS library before it's too late and I can't buy these games anymore, at least in the digital format, and I'd have to pay an arm and a leg to get these in physical form. So obviously, as you can see, my micro SD card is too small and I'm not able to download this game. So I will have to find a micro SD card, a bigger one that I can fit on here, in order to download all of my games before the eShop fully closes. Well, that was it for April. I'm not really sure what we have in store for May besides one pre-order that I placed for the Min Min amiibo. I know that she already came out. Unfortunately, she won't be here until Tuesday, so that won't be for a couple of days. We'll just have to see if there's anything else in store for us because I don't think there's anything else coming that I've ordered in the past. So tune in next time for May, and I will talk to you later. Bye!